Number 6, I currently work with a marketing company. We've been getting 35 to 40 patients lately, but we're losing a lot of patients on the back end. We're hampered with, this is hampering our growth. I want my practice to continue to grow and in doing so, reduce my overhead. What are some things I should consider? Naren, can I take that one?
Absolutely, Gary. You are the master of, creating thriving practices. This is not my wheelhouse.
Well, one of the things that we look at with our clients is our net patient growth every month. The net patient growth is the number of new patients that came into the practice this month minus the ones that went out through the back door. Now, some areas of the country have more transiency in their practice than others. Like, for example, we have a client in Pensacola, Florida. And Pensacola, Darren, you may know, they have a very large Air Force base that's part of the Pensacola landscape and part of their economic engine. And typically a base assignment is for 2 years. And so oftentimes, a young couple will move to Pensacola. One or the other will be in the Air Force, and they'll be on the base for a couple of years, and then they get transferred somewhere else. So they have high attrition. Now, the attrition isn't because they aren't taking care of patients, but it's because of the economic situation in their area. But it's important to start tracking your net patient count every month. What's the net patient gain every month? And that's the number of new patients minus the ones that and there's other ways that you can lose them. They can pass away, sadly. If you're in an area where there's a lot of elderly patients, that can happen to you. People can move just for other reasons. Maybe they move and get transferred somewhere else. What we want to avoid at all costs, Naren, is a patient leaving because they weren't satisfied with the way they were taken care of in your practice. In other words, they leave to go find another practice. And the very best thing you can do on that is just really focus on optimizing the relationship-driven aspect of your practice. And keep in mind that everything about what does relationship-driven mean? We know their name, we know their spouse's name, we know the kid's name, we know the dog's name, we know their hobbies, we know their interests, we know their health history. We know all of that. And we take great care of them. We think of our patients as our patient family. We like them to think of it that way. And if you'll do that and really excel at that and always push the envelope, what more can we do? Then the likelihood of them leaving to go somewhere else is very, very low. All right, let me go to the 7th question. I've been in practice for 20 years, started as an associate, ended up buying that very practice. This practice had a great reputation. And his patients came along with us. They stuck with us. We're in a small town in the South, but most of my patients are in network, and it's been difficult to keep the doors open and keep my profitability up by relying on PPOs. I think it's time to think about marketing for a different type of patient. Your thoughts?
Absolutely. There are 2 things I would suggest to this gentleman or lady who sent in this question as goals. One is be the practice in your area that is in the top 5% of Google SEO. And how do you know you are there or not? You will rank for 100 or more keywords and phrases on page 1 of Google. Again, page 1 is top 10 results. So be the practice who's ranking for at least 100 or more keywords and phrases among top 10 results of Google. And that should be something, if you do it right, and if you have the right marketing team and the right marketing plan, you should be able to achieve within 12 months. So that's the first goal I would set. The second goal I would set is be the practice, within 2 to 3 years that has the most number of reviews in your area. So look around, like, in Manhattan, that might be a 2-mile radius, but perhaps in a smaller town, that could be
this town was a small town in the South.
Yeah, exactly. So could be a 50-mile radius, right? I'm not sure the population of where you are, but let's say 50-mile radius. So look around, do some Google search, like look for a dentist in those different towns, see who's showing up on the maps, how many reviews they have. And let's say the one with the most has 240 reviews. You need to set a target of, okay, how do I get more reviews than that person, let's say within 2 to 3 years. So that's the goal I would set. But I wouldn't try to chew that big goal in 1 day or 1 month or even in 1 year. I just will start by trying to get 10 or more what I call love letter reviews every month. This is the phrase that Gary and I both coined. And the idea of a love letter review is that these are paragraph reviews where somebody just brags on you. They just say, this is the best thing ever.
They're almost
Practice-
embarrassing when you read them. It's almost like you're kind of like embarrassed because it's like, did my mother write that review? They sound, they're love letter reviews. They're narrative. They're 4 or 5 sentences just singing your phrases, which of course you're getting the genuine voice of the patient. They're using their words to describe their experience in your practice.
Absolutely. And if anybody's curious what a love letter review reads like or looks like, just go to Google, type in Life Smiles Dental Care, Life Smiles one word, Phoenix reviews, and then the Google My Business page for Life Smiles Dental Care will show up. I think the last time I checked, they had more than 1,200 reviews, and many of these are love letter reviews. And literally every day they get these. So
yeah, I was there 2 weeks ago, Naren, doing a team meeting, and that day we crossed the threshold above 1,200 reviews. That day we added the 1,200 first.
Absolutely. And that's what you want, right? You want those love letter reviews. So minimum 10 a month. And then within a year, try to rank for 100 or more keywords on page 1 of Google. Those are the 2 goals.
Yeah, those are going to give you a great start to really mastering digital marketing. All right, next question, Naren. We have a great practice. We have 2 doctors. We have 3 hygienists. We have 6 assistants. It's a big, busy practice. Our patients love us. We get a lot of referrals, mostly by word of mouth, but we don't get many reviews on Google. Can you suggest specifically what we can do to change that? Seems like we have all the good things working for us, but we're not getting Google reviews. Naren, since I have one of our 24 systems is how to consistently get more Google reviews. Can I take that one?
100% get it.
Yeah. All right.
Can I brag on you for a minute, if I may?
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
So Gary has 24 systems, 9 KPIs, and again, having done this for 44 years, Gary figured out that if these 9 KPIs are hitting or exceeding the goals that he sets, there's no way this practice is going backwards. Meaning the practice valuation is going up, the practice revenue is going up, and the net profit for the doctor is going up. So he's like, those are 9 KPIs, we're going to work on it. And then one of those is Google reviews. So there is an entire team, and specifically a couple of people dedicated to working with every client to make sure they are hitting those targets, meaning whatever targets Gary and the team set for Google reviews, they are on it. And I know Gary's going to give you a tiny crash course, but the devil is in the details, Gary, because I've seen some of these challenges and how you help your team overcome those with regards to reviews.
I have a hard time picking which of my 24 systems would be my favorite. I like all of them, and all of them work together, synchronized together to really make a thriving practice. But let me talk about reviews. 5-step process. Step 1, have someone on your team print out the email addresses of everybody that's on your schedule today. They can get that from your practice management software. Dentrix, EagleSoft, Open Dental. I want a printed list of everybody on the schedule today that has with their email address. Step 1. Step 2, have that individual highlight everybody on your schedule that has a Gmail address. Why is that? Because they have to have a Gmail address to write a Google review. Now, it's useful getting reviews on any review site, but what's the granddaddy of all review sites, Naren, by far?
Google.
So they have to have a Gmail address. So highlight the names that have a Gmail address. Go to step 3. As a team, look at the list of people that have a Gmail address and identify the patients that you flat out know beyond a shadow of a doubt would write you a 5-star review. Who are they? And maybe you've got 6 people on your schedule today that have a Gmail address, and 5 of them you flat out know beyond a shadow of a doubt would write you a 5-star review. If you're not sure, don't include them. Right? So that's step 3. Step 4 is go through those names and identify a specific person to ask that patient for a review. So back to my example, we've got 5 patients on schedule that we flat out know would write us a 5-star review. Hey, who wants to ask Naren? Who wants to ask Gary? Who's going to ask Melinda? Who's going to ask Maria? Who's going to ask Franz? And just ask for a volunteer. And oftentimes it's the person that has the closest relationship with them. It might be their hygienist, it might be the assistant, it might be a doctor, it might be an admin team member. Now, if no one volunteers, assign someone on your team as the default person if no one volunteers. That would be likely the team member that is most social, outgoing, gregarious, and can connect with anybody. We have that person on LifeSmiles. And that person gets the task if nobody volunteers. And step 5 is print out something in print to hand to the patient. Naren, because we work with you as a marketing agency, you've made this really easy for us. You print a card for us that has the QR code to go directly to the Google My Business page for us. Is that correct?
Correct. That is correct.
So step 5 is we have a stack of those. Everyone has those in their drawer. The hygienist have them in the drawers, the assistant have them in the drawers in the operatory. The admin team has it in their drawer. The doctors have them in theirs. And when we ask the patient for a review, we might say something like this. Kelly might say to you, the hygienist might say, Melinda, I sure love seeing you on my schedule. Every time I see on my schedule, I know I'm going to have a great day. We also love seeing new patients as well. Would you be kind enough to write us a Google review when you get a chance? I took the liberty of printing out this QR code for you to make it easy for you. And I handed the card. Now, here's why the physical card is important. She doesn't need a QR code. She doesn't need a set of instructions. People know how to write a Google review. But as a female, Melinda's going to take that card and put it in her purse. She has good intentions of writing a review. But as soon as she leaves your office, life happens and it gets in the way. But later in the day, she's going to reach into her purse to pull out her keys. She's going to find the QR card. I told Kelly I'd write a review. And she'll pause her day and write the review. Now, if it's a male, he'll take that card and put it in his pocket. Later during the day, he's going to reach into his back pocket, reach for his wallet, and out comes the card. And he's, I told Kelly I'd write a review. And now they're prompted and they're reminded about it. That's the system we use to get over 1,200 5-star Google reviews. And they're all 5 stars. And why are they all 5 stars? Well, I'd like to think it's because we take great care of our patients, but also we're kind of setting ourselves up for that because we're only asking people that we flat out know would write a 5-star review. So there's your system to get more 5-star reviews. All right, Naren, you get to back clean up and finish the last question. I have a busy dental practice in the suburbs of Atlanta. I'd like to work with a new company for my website. I'm not happy with the one I have. I haven't done much in terms of marketing as of yet. I'm planning to be completely out of network within the next year. I know I need to get after this. I'd like to have a better online presence and do more with organic search engine optimization. What's the first step I should take?
Thank you, Gary. That's a great question. I think the very first step is the fact that you have recognized that you need to do something about organic search engine optimization, the fact that you want to be in that 5% versus the 95% who has to depend on either PPO plans or ads. I think that's awesome. Now, the next step is how do we turn this into action? So I strongly recommend booking what we call a marketing strategy meeting. And what a marketing strategy meeting is a 1 hour to 90-minute meeting where prior to the meeting, our team will spend 6 hours figuring out, remember I said there are 6 things you need to do really well in and get better at every month in order for Google to put you into that 5% club. So my team will see how you're doing on those 6 things. Now, they will literally study it. That's why it takes 6 hours. They look at your competition and they'll give you a report card. So on NAP, one of those 6 things, hey, you're getting a B+, right? And this is why here's the data behind it. Lighthouse score, you're getting a C-. This is why this is the data behind it. So in addition to giving you a very detailed report card with evidence, they also will give you a plan. So regardless of where you're getting an A and where you're getting a C or a D-, they'll give you a plan on getting all these 6 things to an A+. And the reason that is important is, having done this 17 years, we know if we can get you to an A or better in all these 6 areas, no way you're not going to rank for 100 or more keywords and phrases within 12 months. And that's typically, that's what we typically promise after that review and after we know what we need to do. So we give you a report card, we give you a plan, and then our promise is you will rank for 100 or more keywords within 12 months on page 1 of Google. And typically that turns into 20 new patients from the tracking number we set up. So the clients know this is actually working for them. It's not just, hey, I'm ranking for these keywords and that's it, but rather I'm ranking for these keywords and it's turning into phone calls. So that's what I would recommend. And the link is ekwa.com, equa.com/TD for Thriving Dentist, equa.com/TD. Go to that link, book that marketing strategy meeting. It's our gift to you, and see where you are. And then whether you work with us or not, the information you're going to get would really change the next 12 months for you.
You know, I'll amplify that, Naren. And all of this is cumulative. It benefits more over time. Well, we've been with Equa as a client for 7 years now. It's the only spend that we make on marketing, that $12.50 a month. We get between 103 and 105 calls a month from potential new patients, and we convert between 90 and 95 of those. Our average new patient flow is 93 new patients a month. It's 3-doctor practice, so we have an appetite for that number of new patients, and all of that comes from organic search engine optimization. So couldn't be happier. Well, Naren, good job answering all those detailed questions. Your mind lives in the details, and it's evident by the interview that we just did. Hope you all enjoyed that. This is one you might want to go back to and re-listen to and take some notes. Or maybe better yet, just schedule a marketing strategy meeting and get set up with Equa. You'll be thrilled that you did. I refer clients to Equa in my coaching work, especially those that are resigning from PPO plans, because we have to have a source of replacing those patients that used to come from Delta. We have to get them from somewhere else, and I'd much rather get them from Google. So again, that URL is equa.com/TD for Thriving Dentist. On that note, thank you, Naren, for being a co-host and for providing today's interview. Also want to thank all the team members you have at Equa that help dentists all over the country master digital marketing. Also want to thank our listeners. We appreciate each and every one of you. Just a quick reminder, you heard at the top of the show that the Thriving Dentist Show is now available on a new platform that we're using now. Naren, what's that platform that we're on now?
It's YouTube Music. And it's Google has kind of given away or given up on their Google podcast platform. So they're migrating everyone into YouTube Music. By the way, YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world and is the #1 site when it comes to videos and audio in the world. So it's a great platform. If you haven't checked it out, if you're a Google fan, then of course subscribe to us on YouTube Music. If you're an Apple fan, then of course subscribe to us and keep listening to us on the Apple podcast platform.
I'm an Apple fanboy, Naren. I will admit that I'm an absolute Apple fanboy, but I do not like the changes that Apple has made to their podcast platform lately. They made some changes for their benefit that don't benefit podcast producers and podcast listeners. And as much as I love Apple for my hardware and software, not a big fan right now of Apple Podcasts. They make it harder to say a subscriber to podcasts, and where YouTube Music makes it a whole lot easier. So you certainly can listen to us wherever you find us, but if you're not sure where the best place is, I would guide you over to YouTube Music. On that note, thank you for the privilege of your time. Naren and I look forward to connecting with you on the next Thriving Dentist Show.